This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, okay, we'll start. Hey, Santosh, join in time, boss. We are waiting for you. Hi, Santosh, are you there? Yeah, hi, Santosh. Santosh, are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, please join in time, boss. We are all waiting for you, actually, in fact.
Okay, sorry for the late.
It's okay, okay. So, shall we I will start. I'm sharing my screen. Please mute, Santosh.
Okay.
Santosh, Santosh, please mute. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. I'm just sharing my screen. Hope you are able to see my screen. Okay, so today we will start with source determination. Yesterday we completed source of supply. Today we will start with source determination. Okay, I'm just recording this session. What do you call? Once the session is completed, we will discuss on how to what do you call? We'll discuss on your questions. Hey, just 1 minute. Hey, hi, Jabu. Hey, Jabu, are you able to hear me? Can you unmute and speak once, Jabu? Hello.
Hello.
Jagu, why you are joining again and again? Can you discuss with Acute Soft and join, please?
No, already I discussed.
No. Why you are joining? Acute Soft told to dismiss you actually. You have some issue with Acute Soft. Just can you check and confirm? Please don't join,
Okay.
please. Huh?
Okay.
Discuss with
Yeah.
Acute Soft. They agree, you join. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So today we'll start with source determination. Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
So we'll be starting our next topic, that is source determination. Okay, so the topics that we are going to cover in source determination, we will see what are the types of source list records, how to use the uh, uh, source list, okay, how the source determination will happen using the source list. Then we will understand what is quota arrangement, how the source determination process is done using the quota arrangement. We will see that. Then how automatic source determination in a manual purchase requisition will happen. We will cover that. Then how automatic source determination during MRP run will happen. We will see that. Then how the vendor and source list blocking will happen, how it is done. Then we will understand what is the use of regular vendor. Okay, so these are the topics that we are going to cover in the what do you call source determination process. Okay, source determination process. Okay, so okay, so we'll start with source list. So what is source list? Okay, source list. The source list contains a list of sources for a material in a particular plant and for particular time period. Okay, so source list will give you for a particular material in a particular plant what are the possible sources. What are the sources? That means what are the vendors? That list will be provided by the source list. Okay, in the source list, you specify which source of supply is valid for a certain period of time. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, so in the source list, you specify which source of supply is valid for a certain period of time. Okay, so source list will contain what is the source, what is the vendor, and what is his period of time during which he is valid for the supply. Okay, that information you will maintain in the source of supply. You can specify a preferred source as a fixed or MRP relevant for a certain period in the source list also. And among all the sources, you can maintain also which one is a fixed vendor. That also you can maintain. You can mark an undesired source also black. After certain period, you can block a vendor also as a what do you call block. You can block a vendor. Okay, so basically source list has the following purposes. One is restricting selection of sources during source determination process. That means during your procurement process, you make only certain vendors are selected, used for the procurement for a particular material. That can be done through this source list. And defining a source as a fixed source. You will be defining a source as a fixed source. Okay, that can be done. Even you can block a source after certain period. You don't want to procure from that vendor, so you can block that source, that vendor, and defining a source for MRP run. Okay, that also can be done. And even supplementing source determination with quota arrangement. This we will see it in the next topic. So source list will contain all this information. Okay, so basically in the purchase requisition, when you are doing the when you want to do the source determination, that means when you want to determine the vendor, it can be done through info record. It can be done through outline agreement, which already we discussed, or you can done through a source list or through a quota arrangement. These two we will be discussing today. Okay, so using source list, you can determine the source, who is a vendor, who is a supplier, that you can determine in the purchase requisition. Okay, so this is how a source list will look like. Source list is normally created for a material and plant. Now in this source list, you will maintain who are the vendors is going to supply this material into this plant and their validity dates. Among these vendors, if you want to make a vendor as a fixed vendor, that you can do that. And even you can block a vendor. Okay, so that kind of things you can do it in the source list. Okay, so let's create the source list now. Okay, I'll log on to the system. Okay, I logged on to the system. See, the main idea behind source list is, let's say you have a material. Okay, let's say material is ABC123. Okay, now this material you want to restrict the purchasing department to procure only from certain vendors. Let's say from vendor A, vendor B, and vendor C. So you want to restrict procurement of this material from only these vendors, only these three vendors, not from others. So if you want to have that kind of restriction, you will be creating the source list. So in the source list for this material, you enter only these 3 vendors. That's what you will do. So let's create the source list. So go to logistics. Okay. Go to materials management. Go to purchasing. Okay. Go to master data. Okay. You have source list. Open it. Maintain. The transaction code is ME01. Maintain. Okay. This is one. Maintain source list. Okay. Here you enter your material. Okay. Let me create a brand new material. Just 1 minute. I will create a brand new material. Or do we have a material in the system? Just 1 minute. 60. Okay, so we have only one material. Okay, so let me do one thing. I'll create a brand new material. Okay, I'll create a brand new material. I'll create a raw material. Okay. I'm creating in plant 1000. Okay. Okay, I'm creating this material. Okay, I'm entering the purchasing group. Okay, I saved the material. So this is my material 50144. Okay, so this is my material. I created a new material. Okay, 50144. This is my material 50144. This is my material. So now for this material, I will create a source list. Okay, so go to ME01 transaction, enter your material 50144, enter the plant. Plant is 1000. Now enter. So the moment you enter, you will get this screen. Here you will enter the valid vendors, the vendors which you want to get supplied from this for this material. So you enter that vendor list for this materials. Okay, I'll select some vendors from the system. Just 1 minute. Let me create the PIRs also, because we need the PIRs. Without PIR it will throw the error. Just 1 minute. ME11. I'll put ME11. Okay, ME11. I'll select some vendors. Just 1 minute. Vendors by purchasing. Okay, I'll put the purchase organization as 1000. Just 1 minute. I'll select some vendors. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me select these 4 vendors. 1001, 1001, 1002, 1002 and 1003. Okay, these three vendors I will select. Okay, so I am just first creating the PIR, what do you call, purchase info record, which we discussed yesterday. Okay, info record. Okay, go to purchasing data. Okay, plan delivery time. Okay, net price I am entering 10 euros. Enter. Able to determine condition type. Conditions. Okay, let's use some other system. Just 1 minute. This is a problem. Just 1 minute. Let me use some other system. Okay, MM60. Use a mint. Okay, so we have these materials. Okay, let me use this one, 2578. 2578 I will use. 2578 I will use. Okay, so now I'll create some PIRs for this material. Just 1 minute. M11, which we already created. What was the material? 2578. Enter the material. 2578. Purchase organization I will enter. Okay, now let's select the vendors. I'll select some vendors. Just 1 minute. Purchase organization is 1000. Okay, yesterday I used some vendors. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Yesterday I used some vendors. Just 1 minute. What was the vendors used? 1101, 1102, 1103. Okay, we will use this one. 1101, 1102, 1103. Okay, these vendors we will use. I'll create the purchase info records first. Okay, 1101, 1101, 1101. Okay, I'll go to purchase this thing. Standard quantity I will enter. Net price I will enter 10. Okay, now I'm saving this purchase info record. Okay, so this is our purchase info record. Go to change mode. Okay, this is our purchase info record number. Select the purchase info record number. Put it over here. Okay, now I'll create for the next vendor. 1102. Sorry. Go to create. Enter. Go to purchase organization data, 1 liter. Let's say this is 50 euros. Now I'm saving this. Okay, next one is 7151. 7151. 7151. I'll create the next one. Next vendor, 1103. Okay, go to purchase organization data. His price I'm entering as 20. Okay, standard quantity 1. Enter, save it. Done. Next vendor is, it is 7152. So I want to procure this material from these three vendors only. System should not allow procurement from other vendors. So now we will create the source list. Okay, so the transaction code is ME11. Sorry, ME01. Sorry, ME01. Okay, you go to this transaction, maintain source list. You enter the material, 2578 is your material, enter the plant, enter. Now once you go inside, you will get this screen. Here you maintain the validity period of that vendor and then enter that vendor. So let's say I'll enter the validity period from today, 22/07/2018. Till, let's say I want to make this one vendor valid only for till this year only. Okay, so 31/12/2018. Okay, so now the vendor is 1101. 1101. Okay. Purchase organization 1000. Okay, done. You got it. That means I want to procure this material. System should allow procurement of this material from this vendor only during this period. Okay, now I'll enter another vendor 2207 2018 till 3112 2019 from the next vendor 1102. Purchase organization is 1000. Then I entered. Now next one from today 2207 2018 I want to procure from another vendor forever. Let's say 999 1103. Purchase organization is 1000. Okay, so like this you can maintain the vendors. That means if you have this source list, this material can be procured only from these three vendors for a certain period, for these periods only. Okay, I'll discuss about the remaining ones later point of time. Now you can just save the source list. This is one method of creation of source list. Okay, now for the same one more vendor, I'll create a scheduling agreement. Just 1 minute. Vendor, another vendor 1104. What I will do is I'll create a scheduling agreement which we discussed yesterday. Okay, I'll create a scheduling agreement. What was the scheduling agreement? Go to logistics, go to materials management, purchasing. Okay, go to outline agreement, or let's create a contract. Okay, let's create a contract ME31K. I'll create a contract 1104. Agreement type is just 1 minute. I'll create quantity contract. Purchasing group is this one. Okay, I'll remove the plant as a plant. Let's plant will remain there. Okay, validity end date 31/12/2019. Enter this we discussed yesterday. I enter the material. What was the material? 2578. 2578. Let's say I want to procure 10,000 material. Okay, not a problem. Okay, I'll enter some price 20. Okay, done. Now save it. Okay, done. We have created a contract also. We have a contract here. Okay, what is the contract number? Contract number is 46. This one. This is my contract number. Okay. For this material, you have a contract. Okay. So these things you can enter in the source list manually. That is, you can enter in the source list manually. Okay. Source list you can enter manually, one by one. Okay, that you can do. Or another method is I am not saving this. I'm just going back. I'm not saving this. Again, you go inside the source list. Instead of entering one by one manually, if you see there is a button, generate records. Are you able to see? There is a button called generate record, circle button with red and white colors. If you click on that button, system will automatically read the already existing records for this material with those vendors, and it will propose here automatically. Now you see, I'm just clicking on the button generate records. Okay, valid from date it is asking. Okay, continue. It will propose all the PIRs and the contracts we have created already. See, there are 3 purchase info records for these vendors that system is proposing, and for one vendor there is a contract. So system is proposing. So source list can be created in 2 ways. Either you can enter all those things manually, or you can generate from this by clicking on this button. So this is the source list. Now you save the source list. So now we have created the source list for this particular material. Okay, so now what data you will be maintaining in the source list? Okay, so first is the validity period. Okay, that means only to valid from and to date, from and to. Okay, so period within which the settings made in the source list are valid. Okay, so only during that period the procurement can be done from that vendor. Okay, now key source data. Key source data means the number of the vendor number, and the responsible purchase organization. Responsible purchase organization number and item of the outline agreement. That is a key source data. Now fixed source, I'll tell you later point of time, and there will be procurement plan. This also I'll tell you later point of time. There will be a blocked source. Blocked source means among those vendors, after a certain period you want to block one source. That means you don't want to do procurement from that vendor, then you can do it as a blocked source. So how you will do the blocked is, you go here, again go inside. Here you see there is a blocked indicator. After a certain period, I don't want to procure from this vendor. Okay, you just click on the button blocked. Then system will not propose you this vendor. Will not allow you to procure this material from this vendor. That is a blocked one. Okay. Anyhow, I'm saving this. Okay. So now MRP one we will discuss when we go to the MRP. So this is the data you maintain in the source list. Now source list requirement. So for a particular material, you can maintain source list requirement at two places. So one is the moment you activate source list requirement in the material master. So you need to mandatorily maintain the source list. Okay, so once you mandatorily maintain the source list, whenever you create the purchase order, system will check whether that particular vendor is maintained in the source list or not. If it is not maintained, that vendor is not maintained in the source list, system will throw the error. Suppose if you see here, we are creating purchase order for the vendor 1030, but this vendor 1030 is not included in the source list. It is not there. So then system will not allow you to create this purchase order for this particular vendor. So how to make source list as a mandatory? So the source list as mandatory, you can do it in the material master record. So you just go to the material master. I'll show you again. Go to material master MM02. This is our material. Go to purchasing view. Okay, plant is 1000. Here, if you scroll down in the purchasing view, here you see there is an indicator source list. So I want source list to be mandatorily maintained for this material. So you activate this checkbox. The moment you activate this checkbox, source list will become mandatory. But already we maintained source list for this material. Okay, so we maintain the source list. Now in our source list, who are the persons available? Okay, who are the vendors available? Only this, you can procure this material only from these vendors. So suppose now if I try to create a PO, ME21N. Okay, if I try to create a PO, okay, so let's say if I try to create PO for, let's say 1102, I'm trying to create PO for this vendor. Okay, enter the purchase organization, purchasing group. Okay, enter the company code. I entered it. Now I entered the material. What was our material? 2578. 2578. This is my material. I am entering the quantity. And into this plant. Plant is 1000. The moment I entered, now are you getting any error? System is saying there is no problem. You can procure from this vendor. But if I try to enter a vendor which is not there in the source list, system will throw the error because that vendor is not included in the source list. So I'll not save this. I'll try to go to the PO again, ME21N. Now I'm using a vendor which is not there in the source list, 1105. Okay, enter the purchase org, purchasing group, company code. Now I'm entering my material 2578 quantity. And plant entering 1000. See, price it is asking. Okay, let me enter some price. What error you are getting? Source not included in the list despite source list requirement. So system will not allow you to procure for this material from this vendor, because this vendor is not identified as a source in the source list. In the source list 1105 is not there. That is the meaning of it. Okay, so once the source list will become mandatory, is mandatory that compulsory that vendor needs to be maintained in the source list. So the source list requirement you can maintain at material level, or you can maintain it plant level. You can maintain it plant level also. Instead of maintaining for each and every material, you can make the source list requirement at plant level also. This is a configuration. I will show you in the configuration. So if you go to configuration, SPRO, SAP reference IMG. Okay, so scroll down, go to go to materials management. Okay, so go here, go to purchasing. Okay, so here you see source list. Here if you go inside, here define source list requirement at plant level. If you go here, if you go there, see for the 1000 plant, as of now plant level it is not there. Instead of maintaining for each and every material, in the material master as source list is mandatory, instead of maintaining that, you can maintain at plant level. So plant level, you go to the customization, and in the plant, for each plant you activate this checkbox, source list required. So this also can be done. Okay, once you do that, for all the materials in that plant 1000, source list will become mandatory. So that's what you can do. So that is a importance of it. As of now it is not there. If you want to make it, you just activate that checkbox and then you save it. So in that way you can make source list as a mandatory. The vendor has to be mandatorily maintained in the source list. So it can be done in that way. Okay, so that is a source list requirement. Either you can maintain it material level, or you can make the setting at plant level. Okay, so next topic we will be discussing is creation of source list. So source list can be created in various methods. Okay, either you can create manually, which we just discussed. The transaction code is ME11. You can create, or you can directly create from an outline agreement, or you can create directly from a purchase info record, or you can generate them automatically also. I will show you this in the system. So there are various methods. Okay, one is manual, which already we discussed just now. Okay, you just go to this transaction and create and maintain source list manually. Or when you are creating the outline agreement, or when you are creating the purchase info record, you can create the source list. Or there will be automatic generation is also there. That also we will discuss. Okay, so let's go to the let's see from the outline agreement how you can create the source list from an outline agreement. So what I will do is I'll go to the material, I'll go to the outline agreement. Okay, or let us take a, we don't have materials, or let us take another material. Okay, let me take this one. Let me take this 2618. I'll, or let's take that only. 2578 only we will take 2578. Before understanding how the source list are created from various other methods, now how the source determination happens through this source list. Okay, I'll show you that. So when you create a purchase requisition, ME51M, when you create the purchase requisition, okay, when they create the purchase requisition, what is our material? 2578. So when they enter the material 2578, okay, let's say I want to procure 100 quantity. into plant 1000. Okay, into plant 1000. So from here you can do the source determination. So what you need to do is you just click on this checkbox. There is a button called source determination checkbox. Activate that. Activate that. Now scroll down. Now here, if you see, there is a tab called source of supply. So from here you can do the select the vendor. So just click on the button assign source of supply. So once you click on that button, see, system is proposing all the vendors from the source list. See, in the source list we have maintained all these vendors. System is proposing. Okay, now here among this, if you want to select a vendor, you do price simulation. Click on this button, price simulation all. Click on that button. The moment you click on the price simulation, system will do price comparison and it will give you who is the best vendor. See, now here we have done. Now yes, system is proposing 1101 as the preferred vendor, best vendor, which is coming with green light. Now you select this vendor. Now you select this vendor 1101. Okay, now you go back. Sorry, just 1 minute. Okay, sorry, you go back. You go back now. Now 1101 is proposed by the system. So what you do, you select 1101. You select 1101 and scroll down. You assign it. So now 1101 is assigned as a source of supply vendor for this purchase requisition. So this is how you use the source list during the source determination process. During the source determination process. Okay, this is a one thing. Now, what I will do, I will go to the source list again. Okay, I'll go to change mode, maintain. Again, I will go. Now, among these vendors, as of now, even though 4 vendors are there, I want to procure from this vendor 1103. I am making it as fixed vendor. I am making this vendor as fixed vendor. Now you see what will happen when I do the source determination in the system. So now system by default will propose the 1101. So I am going to the PR again. I am not saving this. Okay, again I am creating a PR ME51N. Okay, enter the material. What was the material? 2578. 2578. Quantity is 100. Plant is 1000. Enter. Okay, now click on the activate the button checkbox source list, source determination. Now here, if you scroll down, the moment I click on the button assign source of supply, see what's happening? System by default proposing 1103 because we made that as a fixed vendor. For a particular time, I want to procure only from that material, that vendor only. So system is by default proposing the 1103 because we made that vendor as a fixed vendor. So this is how system will do the source determination during the purchasing process if you maintain the source list. Okay, now we will see how to create the source list from other methods. So from outline agreement. So let's show me outline agreement. Okay, just 1 minute. So when I'm trying to create, just 1 minute. Okay, I'll create a contract. I'll go to the contract. I'll go to the contract now. Okay, I'll create a fresh contract ME31K. Same material. What was the material? 2578. 2578 is my material. That's okay. I'll do it for another vendor. 11. How many vendors we have? 1104. Now I'll do it for 1105. Okay, I'm creating it. Enter. I'm creating a contract. Okay. Enter. Okay, now enter the material. Material is 2578. I'm entering some quantity 10,000. Enter. Price I am entering. Let's say 8 euros. Okay, I entered it. Now from this screen, you can create the source list. So select the line item. On the top there is a button item maintain source list. You see, item maintain source list. So from the contract itself you can go and add the that vendor as a source list. So you add valid from today, valid to date. Okay, enter validity period. That's okay. Done. Okay, so now save it. Done. Created. Create contract is created, but this vendor will be added in your source list. So if you go to the source list, enter. See, the new vendor got added here automatically in the source list. Okay, so this is one method of creating the source list directly from the contract, directly from the outline agreements. You can create the source list. Another method is from the purchase info record also you can create the source list. So I'll take one more. I'll create a purchase info record. Okay, ME01, ME11, our purchasing info record, which we discussed in our previous class. Now I'll use 1106 new vendor for this material. Enter. Okay, go to purchasing org data, enter the standard quantity 1. I'll enter some price, let's say 22 euros per liter or something. I entered it. Now from here, go to extras, source list. Are you able to see? There's a source list option. Click on that. Sorry, just 1 minute. Go to, just 1 minute. Cancel, go to general data. 2578 is already, we are on the maintain source list. Yeah, sorry, we are here, we have not saved it. That is why system they are not allowing. Sorry. Yeah, okay. So here you go back again once. Now again click on button, extras, source list. Now here it will allow you to add this vendor as a source list. Okay, done, enter. Now when I save this, purchase info record will get created, and at the same time this vendor will get added in the source list. Now I'm saving this. Done. Now if you go to our source list, if I go to the source list, see one more vendor got added here, 1106. So this is how you can generate the you can create the source list, various methods. Now another one is automatic generation. Automatic generation means you go here, go to logistics, go to materials management, go to purchasing, master data. Okay, here you have source list, open it. Okay, follow on functions, this one ME05, the transaction code is ME05. Here you give the material, plant, and just execute, and just test run, remove the test run indicator and execute, and when you save it, automatically it will come. But the problem is we already added all these things. Just 1 minute. Let us try with some different material. 2744 we will try. Let's see what happens. 2744. Plant is 1000. Okay, enter the plant. Remove the test run indicator. Okay, remove the test run indicator. Just try to execute. There are no selection is there. You should have some records in the system. 2744 or 2645. 2645. Plant is 1000. No, it is not there. Okay, so what we can do is for this 26, let's do one thing. Let's create some PARs. ME11, ME11, 26. What was the material? 26. Let's take this. What material we were using? 2578. That's okay. 2618 we will take. 2618. 2618. For this 1101, I'll create a PAR. Okay, save it. Standard quantity 1 liter. I'm saving the PAR 2618. I'll create one more PAR, same 2618. Purchase organization data, net price 12, and this one. Save it. So 2618 is my material. Now again you go to ME05. 2618 you enter plant 1000. Okay, now remove the test run indicator. Now just execute. Now system will bring all the PA info records over here. Now you can save it. When you save it, automatically in the background source list will get created. Okay, so now as of now for this material 2618, the new material 2618, if you go ME01 2618, As of now, there is no source list here. As of now, there is no source list. Now, but when I do it from there, when I do it from here, it will generate the source list. And of course, here I'm doing only for one material. Here I'm doing only for one material. You can do it for multiple materials also. You need to click on this button, multiple selection button. You give whatever the materials you want to create source list. You give that materials here. Put the plant here, and then remove the test run indicator and execute. It will fetch all the records available for those materials. Now, as of now, I am creating info record source list for this material. So select all. Now just click on the button save. In the background, system will create the source list for that material. So now if you go to the material now, 2618, now you see source list got created. So this is how you can generate automatically also, automatic generation source list. Okay. Now the next topic we will be discussing is source list for material group contracts. Okay, so whenever you are creating a contract for a material group, which we discussed in the previous class, yesterday's class, we discussed how to create a contract, for a material group. So when you are creating the contract for a material group, from there itself you can generate the source list for the material group also. Same thing, you select item and then maintain source list. So you can generate a source list for a material group also. That is also possible. Okay, same thing. When you are creating the contract for a material group, from there you will trigger create the source list for that material group. Same like the one for which I showed you for a single material. So that is also possible. Okay. So with this, we have completed the source list. Now what we will do is, we will take 5 minutes break. And then we will start with quota arrangement. We'll take 5 minutes break. Okay. So now we will start with what do you call quota arrangement. We have completed source list. We have completed source list. Okay, now we will discuss on
Hello.
the quota arrangement. Yeah, okay. What is this?
Hello. Yeah, I have a question on the source list.
Okay, tell me. Tell me.
So, if a company like Tata, Reliance, how they will do this source list? So whether it will do automatically or ho- what will be their procedure?
That
Suppose.
depends, boss. That depends upon the company. How they want to. They want to create manually or they want to create automatically. They will decide. Okay, it depends upon the
Okay.
organization, boss. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You can mute, boss. Tiago, you can mute.
Yeah, yeah.
So please mute. Okay. So now we'll start with quota arrangement. Okay. So what is quota arrangement? Okay. So a particular material can be procured from different vendors depending upon the requirement. Okay, so it is not that you always procure a material from a single vendor. You want to give your requirement to multiple vendors, okay, at a time. Okay, so that you don't have dependency on a single vendor. Okay, so total requirement of a material is distributed to different vendors. That is, quota is assigned to each source of supply. This is known as quota arrangement. Quota arrangement. That means instead of, let's say you want to procure 100 kg of a material, instead of giving this 100 kg to a single vendor, single supplier, you distribute that 100 quantity to different vendors in some proportion. So that is what called quota arrangement. You don't want to depend on always on a single supplier or a single vendor. So to avoid that, you give the requirement to multiple vendors. So that is handled through this quota arrangement. Okay, via quota arrangement we can give the quantity and percentage for a vendor. Okay, I will show you this in the system. We can give some particular quantity or even percentage to a vendor. So if we maintain many vendors in the source list, the system will take the correct vendor with comparison of quantity of the document and quota arrangement. That's what it will do. Okay, so basically quota arrangement divides the total requirement of a material among certain sources of supply, that is vendors. So with your quota arrangement you distribute your quantity to certain among certain vendors. That is what called quota arrangement. Okay, so basically in the quota arrangement you give like this. You give the material, you enter the plant, and you enter the vendor and his quota percentage. I'll tell you what is this allocated quantity later point of time. I'll tell you once we go into the quota arrangement. I'll tell you what is this allocated quantity also. Basically for each vendor you will give some percentage. Okay, so let's take our case. Okay, in our case we have four vendors. So let's say for this vendor I want to give 10%. Okay, first vendor. Now second vendor, let's say I want to give 20%. Okay, now third vendor I want to give 30%. Okay, I want to give 30%. Now fourth vendor I want to give 40%. This is what I wanted to do. Let's assume. Okay, so this is a percentage in which I want to divide my requirement to these vendors. Okay, so for this you will be maintaining the quota arrangement. You maintain the quota arrangement like this. Okay, so let's maintain the quota arrangement. Okay, go back. Okay, I'll close all the sessions. It's confusing. Okay, so go to logistics, go to materials management, purchasing. Okay, master data. Okay, you have quota arrangement. Open this. MEQ1, the transaction code is MEQ1. Maintain quota arrangement. You enter the material. Our material is 2578. Okay, enter the material, enter the plant. Now enter. It will take you to the header. First it will take you to the header. Enter the validity period. Let's say this quota arrangement should be valid till 2 years, next 2 years from today's date. Okay, I'll maintain it as 22. Till next 2 years from today's date it will be valid. What is this minimum quantity split? I'll tell you later point of time. Enter. Now select it. On the top there is a button, item. You click on that button, item. Now you will be getting this screen. Okay, this screen. We are here. Okay, we entered the material, we entered the plant, we entered the valid dates. Okay, now you enter the vendors and their quota percentage. Okay, so first I will select procurement as F external procurement. Okay, now you enter the vendor here. What was my first vendor? I want to give my total 10% of my total requirement to this vendor, 1101. So enter 1101. Okay, enter the percentage. Quota is nothing but 10. The 10 means percentage. Enter. Done. Okay, now next vendor, select F 1102. I'll enter 20%. Okay, done. Now next vendor, F, okay, 1103. I'll maintain 30%. Enter. Okay, next vendor, F, I'll maintain 1104. I give 40%. Info record for vendor does not exist. Okay, not a problem. That's okay. Okay, so this is how you maintain the quota arrangement. Okay, so now I'll save this quota arrangement as of now. I'll save this. So I saved the quota arrangement. Okay, so now when you go to display, this is my quota arrangement. Select it, go to item. So I want to distribute in this manner. So but system, when you do the source determination in the PR, how system will select the vendor? Okay, so system will select the vendor based on this formula. Okay, so the formula is like this. System will calculate the quota rating. Okay, so quota rating will be calculated by this quantity, this formula, quota allocated quantity plus quota base quantity and divided by quota. Quota is nothing but percentage. Okay, quota is nothing but percentage. So using this formula, system will calculate the quota rating. So let me put the formula here. So quota rating. So I'll put directly rating, Q rating. Okay, so system will calculate Q rating based on allocated quantity plus quota base quantity divided by your quota. So this is how system will calculate. So now once system will calculate this rating, which vendor it will select first? It will select vendor with minimum quota rating. Okay, quota rating it will select. Let's say if all vendors have same quota rating, then it will select vendor with, if quota rating is same, vendor with max quota percentage will get selected. So that is what will happen. Okay, so this is how system will select the vendor. Now we will see whether it is working or not. So in our case, if I go to the quota arrangement, in our case allocated quantity is 0, and quota base quantity as of now 0. I'll tell you what is this allocated quantity, what is this base quantity. So all are 0, these two are 0. So in the first vendor, what should be the rating as per the formula? 0 plus 0 divided by quota. Quota is 10%. So what will be the quota rating? Poonam or Vasundhara, what should be the quota rating for first vendor? 0, right? 0 plus 0 divided by 10, it will be 0. It will be 0. Quota rating is 0. Like same for all the vendors, as of now in this case for all the vendors, the quota rating will be 0 because allocated quantity and base quantity is 0. 0 plus 0 divided by these percentages. So obviously everything will be 0. Everything will be 0. Correct? This is 0 and this is also 0. This is also 0. For all the vendors as of now, quota rating is 0. Quota rating is 0. Correct? Now, what is our this thing? First, system will try to select the vendor with minimum quota rating. With minimum quota rating, if quota rating is same, quota rating is same for all the vendors, same for vendors, then it will select vendor with maximum quota percentage. So now among these vendors, which is having the maximum quota percentage? Vendor 1104. So when I do the source determination, by default system will select this vendor. It will select that vendor. Okay. So now let's do that. Okay. Before that, I'll remove that fixed indicator. Just 1 minute. ME11. Sorry, ME01, right? That source list. ME0, ME01. This here, I maintained this as a fixed. I'll remove this. Okay. So now, let's, as per this situation, system by default has to select 1104 in the purchase requisition. Now let's test that one. Okay, so go to ME51L. I'm creating a PR, purchase requisition. Okay, enter the material. What was the material, Baba? 2578. 2578. Quantity, let's say I want to procure 100 into the plant 1000. Into the plant 1000. Enter. Done. Okay, now activate this checkbox, source determination. Now when I try to do the source of supply, when I try to do the assign source of supply, now you see system by default will select 1104 because we already maintained quota arrangement. So now click on this button, assign source of supply. See, system by default selected 1104. Why? Because based on this criteria. Vendor with minimum quota rating, first it will try to search. If all vendors are having same quota rating, then it will select the vendor with maximum quota percentage. Okay, Poonam, is this working?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that is how it will select the vendor. Okay,
Yep.
that is how system will select the vendor. Okay, now we will discuss on the what do you call allocated quantity. So here in the quota arrangement, if you see, there is an allocated quantity. So what is this allocated quantity? That means for this material and vendor combination, if you create any PO, any purchase order, any purchase requisition, that will be get added here as the allocated quantity. Allocated quantity. Okay, already existing, already created purchase orders quantities, PR quantities, if at all any you create, after creating this quota arrangement, those will get updated here. So to activate this allocated quantity, first in the material master, you have to activate this quota arrangement usage. For that material, in the material master, in the purchasing data tab, in the purchasing view, you have to activate quota arrangement usage. So when you activate in this quota arrangement usage, you want to use quantities created for purchase order, planned order, purchase requisition, whatever the quantities, those will get updated. Those quantities will automatically get updated as a quota allocated quantity in the quota arrangement, in the your quota arrangement data. Okay, so I'll show you that. First, let's go to the material master. I'll go to the material master, MM02, 2578 is our material. Go to purchasing view, plant is 1000. Now if you scroll down, here you see there is already it is activated. Quota arrangement usage is activated as 4. It is already maintained for 2578. Okay, so this is maintained. This is what we are discussing now. Quota arrangement usage. Okay, so now in our case, it is already there. Now the moment I save this purchase order, which is purchase requisition with quantity 100 for this vendor. This 100 quantity will get updated here as the allocated quantity. Okay, so it will get allocated. Now I'm saving this purchase requisition. So I saved this purchase requisition. Okay, so now if you go to the quota arrangement, go back once, again go to the quota arrangement, select the line item, go to item. See, the allocated quantity has come as 100. Are you able to see? Because for this vendor and for this material combination, we already created a PR for 100. That is the allocated quantity. Now, based on the new scenario, now when I do the next source determination, it will change. So now what will happen? Just 1 minute. Okay. So now what should happen in the next scenario? This I will save this. Let's come out of all the screens. Okay. So here now based on the new scenario, now what will happen? What will be the quota rating for the 1101 now? 1104? 1104. What should be the quota rating? 100 divided by 40. Correct? Am I correct? 100 allocated quantity was 100 plus base quantity is 0 by quota is 40. So now the quota rating should be 100 divided by 40. So what is the quota rating now? 2.5%. 2.5. Quota rating is 2.5. Whereas for others it is 0. It is 0. So now, according to this criteria, if I try to create one more PO and do the source determination, which vendor it should select? Which vendor it should select? Vasundhara. As per this criteria, which vendor it should select? Vendor 30. Vendor 1103 it should select. See, what is our criteria? Vendor with minimum quota rating. Vendor with minimum quota rating is these three. So these three are same. So if vendor quota rating is same, vendor with maximum quota percentage will get selected. So system should select this one now, because this is the now with maximum. Correct? Vasundhara, are you there? Santosh, Ramakrishna, all of
Yes, sir.
yeah. So now in this case it should select vendor 1103. Now if I try to create one more purchase requisition, so let's test that. Okay, I'm creating one more purchase requisition, ME51N. I'm creating one more purchase requisition. What was the material? 2578. 2578. Quantity now I'll create for 200. Plant is 1000. Done. Now activate source determination. Now when I try to do the source determination, assign source of supply. Now based on the new scenario, new criteria, system by default select 1103. 1103. So I'm assigning the source of supply. See, system has selected 1103. Okay, now I'll save this purchase requisition. Now purchase requisition got saved. Now if you go to the quota arrangement, go back to quota arrangement. Again go inside. Okay, select this, select the item, go to item. See, now for the 1103, the 200 quantity got updated here. 200 quantity got updated here. Now again the new scenario. So now what is the quota rating now? Quota rating is 200. What is the quota rating? 200 divided by 30. Correct? 200 divided by 30. Allocated quantity was 200. Base quantity is anyhow 0 for all, divided by quota is 30. So for the 1103 vendor, if I go to clear, 200 divided by 30, its quota percentage is 30. So it is 6.66. So I'll maintain here 6.66. Okay, now again when I do the next prior, when I create and when I try to do source determination, that time now system will take this vendor. Because quota rating is 0 for these two vendors, same now 0. Now among the two vendors with maximum quota percentage is this vendor. Now system will select this 110. It will select by default 110. That is how the quota arrangement will work. So once you start using the quota arrangement usage, system will automatically update the quantities in the quota arrangement. This already I have shown. Okay, so now quota arrangement in MRP, that is how the quota arrangement will work. Okay, now if you want to use quota arrangement in MRP, material requirement planning, okay, in the material requirement planning, we will be discussing in the next class. So if you want to use quota arrangement in MRP, in the material master record, you have to activate the lot size with splitting quota. Okay, with splitting quota you need to assign. Okay, when you do this system, when you run MRP, system will automatically do the what do you call splitting, and accordingly it will allocate the vendor. It will allocate the vendor in the MRP. Okay, so these are the, so if you see, if you use lot size procedure as ES, if your requirement is 1000 pieces, okay, so initially before running MRP, your quota allocated quantity is like this: 420, 310, 190, 100 for each vendor. And if you requirement is 1000, based on the percentages it will split, and your quota allocated quantity will increase accordingly. So in case of quota arrangement with splitting, in case of you use quota arrangement with splitting, system will ignore quota allocated quantity, and this quota rating also system will ignore. That time this formula will not work. When you are using quota arrangement with splitting in the MRP, this formula will not work. This formula, you see, this formula will not work. Okay, so that is the meaning of it. So I'll show you where in the material master it is maintained. So if you go to the material master MM02, if you go to the MRP1 view, plant is 1000. You see here there is a lot size. If you go to this lot size, there is a lot size called lot for lot order quantity with splitting. ES. Lot for lot order quantity with splitting. That is there. So this you need to use. So if you go to the configuration of this, I'll open one more session. SPRO. I'll go to the configuration. SAP reference IFG. Scroll down. Now you have to go to production. Okay. Go to material requirement planning. Okay. Go to here master data. Okay. Here if you go to MRP type, check MRP type. Sorry, not here. Sorry, go to procurement proposals. Sorry. Here, if you go to planning, go to lot size calculation. Here, check lot sizing procedures. If you go inside, click on the button MRP lot size. You are supposed to use ES, lot for lot order quantity with splitting. I'm not sure, might be problem from your end. Ramakrishna, are you able to hear me? Ramakrishna, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir, I can able to hear you.
Santosh, problem is from your end only, I think. Problem only from your end. Okay, so now if you see this lot size procedure, see there is a checkbox activated here, splitting quota. So this one you need to use. Okay, so but anyhow, when you use this, our formula will not work, and system will not consider that quota allocated quantity and quota rating. It will not consider. It will just do the splitting based on these percentages. It will do the splitting only based on these percentages. That's all. This allocated quantity, this base quantity, it will not consider. Okay, so that is the quota arrangement in MRP. MRP will work. Now we will discuss on the base quantity. We will discuss about this base quantity, quota base quantity. Let's say now you are using this quota arrangement. Now you wanted to procure this material also from another vendor. So I'll put that vendor in the quota arrangement. So let's go to quota arrangement, maintain again, select this, go to item. So now the moment I enter one more vendor here, 1105, I'll put 10% for this vendor, new vendor, and I will make this as 30%. Now when I do this, what will happen? Now in this new scenario, what will happen? Again, this vendor quota rating will become 0, right? As per the formula. Ramakrishna, please mute.
I am unable to mute myself. Can you mute me?
Okay, so in this new scenario, again, what will happen? This vendor will again have minimum quota rating because there is no allocated quantity. Let's say assume a scenario, all these 1, 2, 3, 4, these vendors are already have some allocated quantity. Okay, now in that scenario, this new vendor will have lowest quota rating and system will try to give the quantity to new requirement to that vendor. So this vendor will take unnecessary due advantage. So to avoid that, you will give some quota based quantity. So let's say you give some quota based quantity here 100. So that time, what happens as per this formula, allocated quantity, even though you don't have allocated quantity, you have the base quantity. You have the base quantity. So because of that base quantity, he will also will get some rating. He will also will get some rating. 1105. Let's say we are giving 10% to him. So as we maintained some base quantity, here, he will be getting some rating. So that is the use of quota based quantity. Okay, so that is the use of base quantity. Okay, so that will be used as the base quantity in the quota arrangement. Okay, so anyhow, we'll keep it simple. I'll not use this. I'll delete this one as of now. And delete this one. I'm saving this. Okay, now the next one we will be discussing is maximum and minimum lot sizes. Okay, so in the quota arrangement, if you see, I'll save this. I'll close all the sessions. Just 1 minute. Okay, where they are. Okay, so now if you go here, quota arrangement. If I go inside again, select this item. Okay, so now here, what is the other one? Minimum quantity for splitting. Okay, one more thing. We will discuss about this minimum quantity for splitting. So when you are running MRP, you need to give the minimum quantity for splitting. Suppose if you go here in our quota arrangement, if you go here, let's go to maintain again. Now here you see minimum quantity for split. Okay, here suppose let's say if I maintain 1000, that means if your requirement is more than 1000, then only system will do the split. MRP will do the split. MRP will try to do the splitting. Suppose let's say your requirement is 1000. Let's say your requirement is 1000. Okay, there is no minimum quantity for splitting is maintained. Then that time system will do the splitting as per your requirement, as per the quota, as per the percentage. But if you put minimum quantity for split as 1200, and let's say your requirement is only 1000, then that time system will not do any split. It will select only vendor here. That's all. It will not do any splitting. It will not do any splitting. Here in the first case, if there is no minimum quantity for splitting is not maintained, then system will allocate the quantities. It will do the splitting. Whereas in the second case, if you maintain minimum quantity for splitting, it will, if the requirement is less than that splitting quantity, minimum splitting quantity, then it will not do split. That is the meaning of it. That minimum quantity for splitting you will maintain here. Minimum quantity for split you will maintain. That is the importance of it. Anyhow, I'm saving this. That is the importance of it. Now we will discuss on maximum and minimum lot size. Okay, so whenever you are running MRP, you can in the quota arrangement you can maintain maximum lot size or you can maintain minimum lot size also. So if you maintain maximum lot size, as 250, let's say your requirement is 500. Then system create PR 250 for only for 250, and if the requirement is 500, okay, now here in this case the maximum quota is for this vendor. Okay, so system is trying to create one more PR for the same vendor. So but I don't want to do that. Because my maximum lot size itself is 250. More than 250 I should not allow. I don't want to procure from that vendor. So that time you will maintain this 1x indicator. 1x indicator. So if that is if you maintain this one, 250 quantity purchase requisition will be created for one vendor A, and the remaining 250 will be created for vendor B. Because we maintain this 1x. I will show you that. It will be maintained here. If you go to item, this is a one. This is a one. You maintain maximum lot size, and you want at a time one PR, you will activate this checkbox. Let me go to maintain. You go to maintain. You maintain the maximum lot size here, and you activate this checkbox. 1x procurement, only 1x procurement. You activate this checkbox. So that is how you maintain the maximum lot sizes. So this one you will be using only in MRP. Okay. Now the next one is minimum lot size. Okay. So you can maintain the minimum lot size in the quota arrangement. Let's say you maintain minimum lot size as 300. Your requirement is 250. Your requirement is 250. Even though requirement is 250, as a minimum lot size is 300, system will generate a PR for 300. As a minimum lot size is 300. So that minimum lot size you can maintain here. You can maintain here. Minimum lot sizes you can maintain here. Okay. So that is the use of maximum and minimum lot sizes in the MRP. Okay. So that is the one. Now the next one is maximum quantity without splitting quota. Okay, without splitting quota. I'll tell you what is this, the meaning of it. Okay, so let's say you maintain maximum quantity as 200. Maximum quantity as 200. Sorry, 2000. 2000. That means from this vendor, I have to procure maximum as 2000. Maximum as 2000. Let's say my requirement is 800. My requirement is 800. Okay, so when my requirement is 800, what system will do is when my requirement is 200, I already system will first allocate the vendor B for that 800. Okay, now what happens is, now let's say now maximum quantity is 2000. Now we already ordered 800 for this vendor. 800 for this vendor. Okay, now when I do the next allocation, system will select the vendor A for 800. Why? Because the maximum quantity is 2500, out of which we already ordered 800 for the vendor B. So now the maximum quantity is 2500, so it will select the vendor E. So that is the maximum quantity without splitting quota. Okay, so that is the meaning of it. Now the next one is source determination in MRP run. So this is the most important. In the interviews they will ask this question. So when you do source determination in MRP run, how system will do the source determination, on what basis? So whenever you are running MRP, system will do the source determination first considering quota arrangement. It will check for the quota arrangement. If the quota arrangement is maintained, according to the quota arrangement, it will assign the sources. Okay, now if the quota arrangement is not there, then system will go for source list with MRP indicator. So this is the order of priority. In which system will search for the do the source determination in MRP run during the MRP run. Okay, now the next one is source determination outside of MRP run. So when you are doing source determination without MRP run, like the way which we discussed, we did in the purchase requisition. In the purchase requisition, when you do source determination, when you trigger source determination manually, how system does is, first it will search for the quota arrangement, whether any quota arrangement is there or not. If it is there, it will use. If quota arrangement is not there, then system will go for search for the source list. If source list is not there, then system will search for any outline agreements like contract or any scheduling agreement. It will search. Now, if outline agreements are not there, then system search for info record. In the info record, if any regular vendor is there, it will be assigning that regular vendor. I will discuss about that regular vendor also. Okay, so this is the order of priority in which system will do the source determination outside of MRP. That means manual. That means manual. Already we discussed all these things: info record, outline agreement, source list, quota arrangement, all those things we discussed already. Okay. Now the next one is regular vendor. Now regular vendor. Let's assume a scenario: you don't have a source list. You don't have a source list for a particular material. Now for the same material, you have three vendors. Let's say there are three vendors which info records are already created. Now among these three vendors, I want to make a vendor as a fixed vendor. Fixed vendor. In that case, you go for regular vendor. So that vendor you activate as a regular vendor. So let's say if you have activated vendor B as a regular vendor, then in the source determination, system will automatically take that vendor into the purchase requisition as a source determination. System will activate, by default will select. In case of if your source list and quota arrangement is not there, that is what called regular vendor. I'll show you where it is maintained in the info record. So if you go to the info record, I'll go to info record. Let me save this quota arrangement. Okay, so let's go to the info record. ME11. Okay, I'll go to any info record. Let's 2578 1101. I'll go to that info record, change mode. Okay, what is a vendor? 1101, and the material is 2578. 2578 is my material. Enter. Okay, now here, if you see, there is a checkbox, regular vendor. You see this, you activate regular vendor. So once you activate this one, system among this all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vendors, it will select that 1101 by default. Okay, because this has been made as a regular vendor. Okay, provided you don't have no source list, and no quota arrangement. No quota arrangement. If you don't have this, if you have only PIRs, multiple vendors PIRs, but from that multiple vendor PIRs, I want to make one vendor as a fixed vendor, then you will make it as a regular vendor in the PIR. That is what I show you here. You will make this as a regular vendor. So if you do that in the purchase requisition system, by default, when you do the source determination, it will take that vendor. Okay, so to activate this regular vendor functionality, you have to do some customization. Okay, so what is that customization? Okay, so I'll go to configuration again. SPRO. Go to SPRO, SAP reference IMG. Scroll down. Go to materials management, purchasing. Okay. Go to purchase info record. Okay, regular vendor purchase requisition. So purchase info record, quota arrangement, source list, shopping cart, purchase requisition, define tolerance, contract, purchase order, not here. Here, define regular vendor. You see here, define regular vendor. If you go here you will activate. For the plan 1000, if you want to use this regular vendor functionality, you activate this checkbox. This is what you have to do. Okay, this regular vendor functionality will work provided you don't have source list and quota arrangement created. Only you have multiple PIRs, purchase info records. From that, if you want to select anyone, if you want to make one vendor as a fixed vendor, then you will activate that vendor as a regular vendor in the PIR. That's what it will do. Okay, now the next one is blocking the vendors. Okay, so the vendors can be blocked vendors can be blocked either entirely in the at purchase organization levels as we discussed in the vendor master class. This you can do, or you can block it in source list for a particular vendor, or in the quota once you block it here or here in the quota arrangement, system will throw the error. It will not allow you to create. Then it will not allow you to create any purchase order, contract, scheduling agreement, or request for quotation. So once you block the vendor at XK05, which we discussed, vendor blocking, it will do that, and system will not allow you to create source list for source list, quota arrangement, and all the purchasing documents. This is how you block the vendor. And even in the source list, you can block a vendor for a material. So I'll show you that in the source list how to do. So if you go to the source list, V01, if you go inside, you want to block this vendor after certain period, 1102. Just click on this checkbox. So now in the source determination, this vendor will not be considered. This is how you do the blocking. This is how you do the blocking. Okay, that's okay. Done. So that is how you do the blocking of the vendors. So once you do it XK05, which we discussed, try to recollect our vendor master classes, blocking the vendor through XK05. XK05. If you do this block or unblock vendor, okay, if you block here all purchasing organizations, all company codes, all everything, if you do this block, the moment you do that, it will not allow you to create any further source list, quota arrangement, or whatever the purchasing documents. Okay. Now, as I said earlier, a vendor can be blocked in a source list also. Instead of blocking it entire vendor, you can block a vendor. You can block a vendor for a particular material. That means we are blocking this vendor for this material. So once you do that in the source list, it will not allow you to create purchase order for that vendor for that particular material. Okay, and even you cannot enter that vendor in the quota arrangement, and it will not be considered in the source determination. So what I am trying to refer here is you can block a vendor totally you can block a vendor, or you can block a vendor in the source list level for a particular material. That means here this vendor is blocked for this material. Okay, so that is how the blocking of vendors in the source list. Okay, so with this we are done with quota arrangement. Okay, we are done with source determination.